Dr. Jun Kim rubbed his tired eyes as the small clinic's lights flickered again. The power on Epsilon 9 was never stable, just like his medical supplies or his sleep schedule. 5 patients waited outside his door, and he had medicine enough for maybe 3 of them. Just another day at the edge of space, he muttered, looking at his almost empty supply cabinet. A soft beep from his tablet broke his thoughts. The station's cargo bay had a package for him. Strange. No supply ships were due for another 2 weeks. Hold tight, he told his waiting patients. I'll be back soon. The walk to the cargo bay took June past the dirty windows that looked out into the blackness of space. Epsilon 9 was a small medical station that served the nearby mining colonies. It wasn't much, but it was all some of these people had. At the cargo bay, a board worker handed him a small container. Came on the private shuttle this morning, the worker said. Special delivery. The box was light and had air holes punched in its sides. That made June nervous. He checked the sender information and his heart sank. It was from Dr. Han, his old teacher and friend. Last month, June had received news that Dr. Han had died on a research mission to the Sirius system. This package must have been sent before he died. Back in his office, June closed the door and placed the box carefully on his desk. His hand shook slightly as he opened it. Inside, nestled in soft blue fabric, was what looked like a small wolf pup. But this was no earth animal. Its fur was pure white, almost glowing, and its closed eyes had strange markings around them. The creature was breathing, but barely. A sealed letter sat beside the small animal. June opened it quickly. Asterisk, my dear June, asterisk. Asterisk, if you're reading this, I didn't make it back from Sirius. I'm sorry to burden you, but you're the only one I trust with this important task, asterisk. Asterisk, this is a Lumina pup, possibly the last of its kind. The mining corporations have destroyed their home world, hunting them nearly to extinction. This little one's mother died protecting it, asterisk. Asterisk, keep it safe. It needs a diet of mineral water and protein paste for now. When it grows, it will show abilities beyond your imagination. The Lumina were once the greatest healers in the galaxy, asterisk. Asterisk, I know your clinic struggles, but this pup may be the answer to many of your problems, and many of humanity's too, asterisk. Asterisk with hope and trust. Asterisk. Asterisk Han asterisk. June looked at the tiny creature with new eyes. An alien healing species. It seemed impossible, yet Dr. Han wasn't one for fairy tales. The pup made a small sound and opened its eyes. June gasped. They were the most beautiful things he had ever seen, swirling pools of color that shifted from silver to purple to gold. Hello there, June said softly. I guess I'm your new caretaker. He tried to follow Han's instructions, mixing some mineral water with protein paste from his own supplies, but the pup turned away from the food. You have to eat, Jum said, worried. The pup was clearly weak, its breathing shallow. A loud knock broke the moment. Dr. Kim. We've been waiting for an hour. A miner's angry voice came through the door. Jum sighed and quickly made a soft bed from medical blankets in the corner of his office. He placed the pup there, watching as it curled into a tight ball, eyes closing again. I'll figure this out, he promised the small creature. Just hang on. He opened the door to face his waiting patients, mind racing. His supplies were already low. He barely had enough medicine for the humans who needed him. Now he had an endangered alien species to save too. The pup made a soft, whimpering sound from its corner, almost too quiet to hear. Jum didn't know it yet, but that small sound was just the beginning of something that would change his life, and the lives of everyone on Epsilon 9. Forever. 3 days had passed, and Jum was worried. The white pup still refused to eat much. It would take small sips of mineral water, but turned away from all food. Each day, it seemed to grow weaker. Please, Jum said, offering a new mixture he had made from the station's best protein supplements. You need to eat. The pup just looked at him with those strange, color-changing eyes. They seemed to hold wisdom far beyond that of a baby animal. That night, June stayed late at the clinic. He couldn't bring himself to leave the pup alone. The miners had brought in more sick workers that day. A new lung infection was spreading through the colony, and June had used the last of his strong medicine. "I don't know what to do," he said to the empty room. "I can't even save you. How am I supposed to save all of them?" June fell asleep at his desk, data tablets and empty medicine containers scattered around him. The soft hum of the station's air system was the only sound. Until it wasn't. June woke to the strangest sound he had ever heard. It was like music, but not any music made by human hands. It rose and fell in patterns that seemed to touch something deep inside him. He opened his eyes and saw the pup sitting in its blanket nest, its small head raised. The sound was coming from the pup. "What are you doing?" June whispered, afraid to break the spell of the moment. As the pup continued to make the crying sound, June noticed something even stranger. The air around the pup was changing. Small points of light, like tiny stars, formed patterns in the air above the pup's head. But that wasn't the strangest thing. On June's desk, his medical scanner, broken for weeks, suddenly lit up. Its screen showed a perfect calibration reading. Next to it, his tablet began to run system updates that had failed for months. June reached for his phone to record the sound, but as soon as he touched it, the device sparked and went dead. The pup stopped its cry and looked at him with those swirling eyes. "What are you?" June asked in wonder. The pup tilted its head, then slowly walked to the protein paste June had left. It began to eat. That night, June dreamed of strange worlds. He saw skies filled with 3 suns and forests of crystal trees. He saw creatures like the pup, but fully grown, majestic beings with glowing white fur that moved among the sick and injured of many alien species. Where they walked, the sick became well. Where they cried their strange songs, the dying began to live again. He woke with a start to find the pup sleeping on his chest, its small body finally warm and its breathing strong. "Saul," June said suddenly. The name had come to him in his dream. "That's what I'll call you." It means sun in an old Earth language. You seem to bring light wherever you go. The pup, Saul, opened one eye, the color swirling from silver to deep blue, then back to silver. June's tablet beeped. A message from the mining colony. 10 more cases of the lung infection were coming in today. They needed medicine June didn't have. With a sigh, June carefully placed Saul in his makeshift bed. "I have to find a way to help these people," he told the pup. "I just don't know how." Saul made a small sound, not the strange cry from before, but something softer. Then he did something unexpected. He jumped from his bed and walked to June's medicine cabinet. He sat before it and looked back at June. Curious, June opened the cabinet. Inside, where yesterday there had been only empty containers, 3 full vials of lung infection medicine now sat. June stepped back in shock. "How?" he whispered. Saul made that soft cry again, and for just a moment, his eyes glowed like twin stars. Outside the clinic door, the first miners were arriving, coughing and desperate for help. June looked from them to Saul and back to the medicine that should not exist. Something amazing was happening, and June was right in the middle of it. June had just finished treating the miners with the mysterious medicine when the emergency alarm blared through the station. His comm unit crackled to life. "Dr. Kim, mining accident in Sector 7. Many injured coming your way." June's heart sank. His clinic had only 10 beds. The medicine that had appeared was good for lung infections, but it wouldn't help broken bones or burns. Within an hour, his small clinic was overflowing. 15 miners lay on beds, tables, and even the floor. 3 medical robots helped, but they were old models that kept breaking down. The worst case was Da Park, the mining team leader. His body was crushed under fallen rocks, and his breathing was weak. "He won't make it to the transport ship," whispered Nurse Ta. the only other medical staff on the station. His lungs are failing. June checked Day's vitals again. The numbers were dropping fast. Nothing in June's medical training could save this man now. A soft whine came from the office. Sol was awake and scratching at the door. June had locked him inside to keep him safe from the chaos. "Not now, Sol," June called, but the scratching grew more insistent. Something made June walk to the door and open it. Sol darted out and ran straight to Day's bed. Before June could stop him, the small pup jumped up and stood on Day's chest. "Sol, no, get down." June moved to grab the pup, but stopped when Sol began to make that strange crying sound again. This time, it was louder. The sound filled the room like water filling a cup. It wasn't just music. It was something else, something that seemed to touch the very air around them. The lights in the clinic flickered, and then something amazing happened. The color-shifting light that had appeared above Sol 3 days ago now spread across Day's broken body. Where it touched, bruises faded. Where it flowed, cuts closed. Day's vital signs, dropping just moments before, began to climb. His oxygen levels, heart rate, brain activity, all returning to normal ranges. "What's happening?" Nurse Ta whispered, her eyes wide with shock. June couldn't answer. He watched as Sol's cry changed pitch, becoming deeper. The pup's eyes glowed bright silver, no longer shifting colors. Day Park opened his eyes and took a deep breath. "How?" June whispered. Day had been at death's door just moments ago. Now his vitals were those of a healthy man. Sol stopped his cry and sat down on Day's chest, looking pleased with himself. The miner reached up a shaking hand and touched the pup's head. "I saw." Day's voice was rough, but clear. "I saw another world. White wolves walking among the stars. They were singing to me." The other patients and staff stared in amazement, but not everyone looked happy. In the corner, a group of alien traders from the Nexus system backed away, their eyes showing fear. "Lumina," one of them hissed in a clicking language that June's translator barely caught. "Soul stealer. World changer." The aliens hurried from the clinic, their long limbs moving quickly. June turned his attention back to Day, who now sat up, examining his healed body with wonder. "Check the others," June told Nurse Ta, his mind racing. For the next hour, they examined each injured miner. All showed improvement, though none as dramatic as Day. It seemed Sol's cry had helped everyone in the room, but focused its power on the one most in need. As the miners left, talking excitedly about their miracle, June sat down with Sol in his lap. "You're not just a pup, are you?" he said softly. "Dr. Han knew exactly what he was sending me." Sol's eyes swirled with colors again, and he made a small sound that wasn't quite a bark, wasn't quite a word. June's comm unit beeped. It was the station manager. "Dr. Kim, you need to report to my office. We've just received a communication from the Galactic Research Consortium. They're very interested in what happened in your clinic today." June looked down at Sol, who had fallen asleep in his lap. The pup looked so small and vulnerable. "I'll be there soon," June replied, already feeling protective of his new friend. Something told him things were about to get much more complicated. June walked into the station manager's office with Sol hidden inside his medical coat. The pup was quiet, as if he knew they needed to be careful. "Dr. Kim," said Manager Park, a thin man with tired eyes. "Word of your miracle healing has spread faster than a virus. Look." He turned his screen to show June. News reports from 3 nearby systems were talking about the miracle doctor on Epsilon 9. Some even had blurry pictures of Sol, taken by the miners. "I've received 6 messages from research groups," Manager Park continued. "But the Galactic Research Consortium has the most authority. They're sending a team. They'll be here tomorrow." June felt his mouth go dry. "What do they want?" "They say it's a standard check. But Dr. Kim," Park lowered his voice, "these people don't make social calls. Whatever that creature is, they want it. That night, Jum couldn't sleep. He researched the consortium on his tablet. They were the biggest research group in the galaxy, with labs on 50 planets. They studied new life forms and technology. Their public reports talked about helping people, but there were rumors of secret labs where they did darker work. "I won't let them take you," June promised Sol, who was sleeping on the bed. "Dr. Han trusted me to keep you safe." The next morning, a sleek white ship docked at the station. It was much nicer than the rusty mining ships that usually came to Epsilon 9. 5 people in white lab coats walked off. Their leader was a tall woman with sharp eyes and a cold smile. "Dr. Kim," she said when she entered his clinic. "I am Dr. Yuna Lee from the Galactic Research Consortium. We're very interested in your pet." June stood in front of Sol, who was watching the visitors with careful eyes. "He's not a pet. He's a Lumina." Dr. Lee's smile dropped for a second, then returned. "So you know what it is. Interesting. Well, we'd like to make you an offer. The consortium will pay you 1 million credits for the specimen." "He's not for sale," Jum said firmly. Dr. Lee's eyes hardened. "Dr. Kim, be reasonable. You're a simple medic on a poor station. This creature needs proper study in a real lab. Think of how many patients you could help with 1 million credits." Before June could answer, the door opened. A short woman with black hair walked in. She wore a cargo pilot's uniform. "Sorry to interrupt," she said. "I have a medical supply delivery for Dr. Kim." Dr. Lee looked annoyed. "We're in a meeting." The pilot shrugged. "This medicine won't wait." Station manager said it's urgent. June didn't remember ordering supplies, but he nodded. "I'll sign for it." As he followed the pilot to the cargo area, she whispered, "My name is my son. Don't react to what I'm about to say. The consortium is dangerous. They want your Lumina to make weapons. I can help you get away, but we need to move fast." June kept his face calm, though his heart raced. "How do I know I can trust you?" My son handed him a small device. "This was from Dr. Han. He saved my sister years ago with Illumina's help. I owe him everything." The device showed a recorded message from Dr. Han. "If my son comes to you, trust her. She's part of the Stellar Guardian Alliance." That night, strange things started happening. The power to June's quarters cut off for 10 minutes. His door lock glitched. When he checked the security footage, he saw dark shapes moving in the hallway, trying to break into his room. At midnight, his comm unit beeped. It was my son. "They're making their move tonight," she whispered. "Meet me at Docking Bay 3 in 20 minutes. Bring only what you need. And keep the pup quiet." June quickly packed a small bag with medicine and food. He put Sol inside his coat again and headed for the door. As it opened, he found himself face to face with Dr. Lee and 2 large men in black uniforms. "Going somewhere, Dr. Kim?" she asked with that cold smile. "I think it's time we took that specimen off your hands." June froze as Dr. Lee and her guards blocked his doorway. Sol made a small sound inside his coat. "Step aside," June said, trying to sound brave. "I'm needed in the clinic." At midnight, Dr. Lee raised an eyebrow. "I think not. Now hand over the specimen, and we can end this peacefully." Just as one of the guards reached for June, the lights in the hallway went out. Complete darkness surrounded them. Then came a loud boom from somewhere in the station, followed by emergency alarms. "What's happening?" shouted Dr. Lee. In the confusion, someone grabbed June's arm and pulled him sideways. It was my son. "Run," she whispered, leading him through a side door he hadn't noticed before. They raced through narrow maintenance tunnels, the sounds of shouting growing distant behind them. Sol stayed quiet in June's coat, as if he understood the danger. "We can't go to the docking bay yet," my son said. "They'll be watching it. We need to get something first." "What?" June asked, trying to catch his breath. "The truth." My son led him to a small door marked Station Archives. "Authorized personnel only." She placed her hand on the scanner. and to Jun's surprise, it opened. "How did you?" "I have friends," she said simply. "We don't have much time." Inside was a small room filled with data servers. My son went to a terminal and began typing quickly. "The consortium comes to stations like this for a reason," she explained as she worked. "They hide restricted files here because no one ever checks. People are too busy trying to survive." The screen lit up with files labeled Classified and Project Lumine. "Download everything," Jun said. My son nodded and inserted a small device. "Already on it." As the files downloaded, Jun looked at some of the information on the screen. What he saw made his blood run cold. The Lumina weren't just rare, they were hunted almost to extinction. Their home world in the Sirius system had been a peaceful place until mining companies discovered valuable minerals there. When the Lumina protested the destruction of their sacred forests, the companies called them dangerous. But the real reason they were hunted was in the next file. The Lumina's cry could control energy at the quantum level. Their vocal cords contained special cells that could be harvested to power experimental weapons. The consortium had been cutting open Lumina for years, studying how to use their powers. "They're not studying them," Jun whispered in horror. "They're killing them." My son nodded grimly. "Dr. Han discovered this. That's why he saved that pup and sent it to you. Sol might be the last free Lumina in the galaxy." Another file showed pictures of adult Lumina. They were magnificent creatures, like large wolves with glowing white fur and those same swirling eyes that Sol had. They stood tall and proud in their crystal forests, using their cries to heal the sick and help their world grow. The file confirmed what Jun had seen in his dreams. "Done," my son said, removing the device. "We need to go now." They slipped out of the archives and made their way toward a different docking bay than planned. "My ship is at Bay 5, my son explained. "It's smaller but faster than they'll expect." As they turned a corner, they found Nurse Ta standing there. She looked scared. "Dr. Kim," she said, "the consortium people are searching everywhere for you. They say you stole valuable research property." Jun hesitated, unsure if he could trust her. Sol poked his head out of Jun's coat and made a soft sound. He wasn't afraid of Ta. "I need your help," Jun said, making a decision. "Can you create a distraction near Bay 3? Make them think we're heading there." Ta nodded. "The miners are on your side, Doctor. After what your little friend did for Da, we all are." As Tai hurried away, Jun and my son continued toward Bay 5. The truth about Sol was worse than Jun had imagined. But now he was even more determined to protect him. They just had to make it off the station alive. Alarms blared throughout the station as Jun and my son ran toward Bay 5. From behind them came shouts and the sound of heavy boots. "They're gaining on us," Jun panted, holding Sol tight against his chest. My son punched a code into a side door. "This way. It's a shortcut." They burst through into a storage area filled with large crates. As they weaved between them, Jun heard a voice on the station speakers. "Attention all personnel. This is Dr. Lee of the Galactic Research Consortium. A dangerous specimen has been stolen from our custody. Dr. Kim is to be stopped, and the specimen secured. This is a matter of galactic security." "Lies," my son muttered as they reached another door. They never had custody of Sol. Bay 5 was just ahead. My son's ship sat waiting. A small cargo vessel with faded paint, but powerful engines. Unlike the sleek consortium ship, this one looked like it could blend in anywhere. As they sprinted across the open bay, a blue laser blast hit the floor near their feet. Jun turned to see Dr. Lee and 4 guards entering the bay, weapons drawn. "Stop right there," Dr. Lee shouted. "That specimen is consortium property." My son reached the ship first and slammed her hand on the entry panel. The door hissed open. "Get in," she yelled to Jun. As Jun ran up the ramp, a laser blast grazed his arm. He cried out in pain, but kept moving. Once inside, My son hit a button, and the door closed behind them. "Strap in," she ordered, jumping into the pilot's seat. "This will be a rough takeoff." June buckled himself into the co-pilot's seat, still holding Saul. The pup looked up at him with worried eyes. "We'll be okay," June told him, though he wasn't sure if that was true. The ship's engines roared to life. Through the viewport, June could see Dr. Lee shouting orders as her guards fired at the ship. "Bay doors aren't opening," my son said, hands flying over the controls. "They've locked us in." Just as panic began to rise in June's chest, Saul wiggled free from his arms. The pup stood on the control panel and made that now familiar crying sound. His eyes glowed silver as the sound filled the ship. Outside, the bay doors began to open. "I didn't do that," my son said in wonder. "It's him, isn't it?" The ship shot forward through the opening doors and into the blackness of space. Behind them, the consortium vessel was already powering up to follow. "They're faster than us," my son said grimly. "We need to reach the jump point before they catch us." June looked at the navigation screen. The nearest jump point, where ships could enter faster than light travel, was 10 minutes away. The consortium ship would catch them in 5. "Can we fight them off?" June asked. My son shook her head. "This is a cargo ship, not a battle cruiser." Saul made that crying sound again. This time, it was deeper, almost like singing. The lights in the cockpit dimmed, then brightened. The engines made a strange humming noise. On the screen, their speed increased dramatically. "What's happening?" June asked. "He's doing something to the engines," my son said, staring at Saul in amazement. "We're moving twice as fast as we should be." They reached the jump point just as the consortium ship came within firing range. A blast rocked their ship, but my son had already activated the jump drive. The stars stretched into lines of light as they entered faster than light travel. They had escaped, for now. As the ship settled into the jump, Saul curled up on June's lap, exhausted. "Where are we going?" June asked, gently stroking Saul's fur. "To a hidden place," my son replied. "A sanctuary for endangered species. The Stellar Guardian Alliance has bases that the consortium doesn't know about." She turned to look at Saul. "But I've never seen Illumina do what he just did." That was more than healing. He manipulated the ship's energy fields. June remembered what he had read in the archives. The files said they can control energy at the quantum level. But Saul is just a pup. If he can do this now, then imagine what he'll be able to do when he's fully grown, my son finished. Her face was serious. No wonder they want him so badly. The ship hurtled through space, carrying them toward an uncertain future. 3 days of space travel left June tired but hopeful. Saul had grown stronger each day. The pup now ate well and followed June everywhere, his white fur glowing softly in the ship's dim light. "We're almost there," my son said as she guided the ship toward what looked like empty space. "The sanctuary is hidden inside an asteroid field. Most ships can't navigate it safely." June looked at the viewport with concern. Hundreds of large rocks floated in their path, spinning and crashing into each other. "Are you sure this is safe?" he asked. My son smiled. "For most pilots. No, for me, mostly." As their ship entered the field, my son's hands moved quickly over the controls. The ship darted between the rocks with barely any room to spare. Several times, June was sure they would crash, but my son always found a path forward. Saul watched from June's lap, his eyes following each movement of the ship with interest. After 20 minutes of nerve-wracking flight, they approached a large asteroid. It looked like all the others, but my son flew directly toward it. My son." June pointed at the rock wall coming closer. "We're going to hit that." "Watch," she said calmly. Just as they seemed about to crash, the rocky surface flickered and disappeared, revealing the hidden entrance. My son guided the ship inside a massive cave that opened into a huge space within the asteroid. June gasped. Inside was an entire colony. Buildings had been built into the walls of the asteroid, with lights and plants everywhere. Ships of different types were docked in various areas, and people of many species walked about. "Welcome to Haven," my son said proudly, "one of the last safe places in the galaxy." They landed on a small platform where 3 people waited. One was human, and 2 were aliens Jun didn't recognize. The human was an older man with white hair and a kind face. As they walked down the ship's ramp, Saul stayed close to Jun's heels. "My son," the older man said warmly, "you made it, and this must be Dr. Kim and the Lumina pup." "This is Elder Jin," my son explained to Jun. "He leads Haven." Jin knelt down to look at Saul. The pup stared back, his eyes swirling with colors. "Extraordinary," Jin whispered. "An albino Lumina. I've read about them, but never thought I'd see one." "What's special about his color?" Jun asked. Jin stood up slowly. "Let's talk inside. The consortium has spies everywhere, even here." They followed Jin to a small room filled with plants and soft lights. It felt peaceful after their dangerous escape. The Lumina were peacekeepers, Jin explained. Their cries could heal bodies, but also minds. They could connect with different species, help them understand each other. Jin pointed to Saul. "But a white Lumina is extremely rare. They're called harmony bearers. Their powers are much stronger. They can connect entire groups of people mentally, create understanding between enemies." "Is that why the consortium wants him so badly?" Jun asked. Jin nodded. "Imagine if you could control a power like that. You could manipulate minds, create false peace, or even drive people to war." That night, Jun was given a small room to share with Saul. The pup curled up on the bed, tired from all the excitement. As Jun drifted to sleep, something strange happened. He began to dream, but it wasn't like normal dreams. He saw crystal forests and 3 suns in the sky, the world of the Lumina. In the dream, Saul was there, but grown to full size, a majestic white wolf with glowing fur. The adult Saul spoke directly into Jun's mind. "Friend," the voice said clearly, "danger coming. Must learn. Must grow stronger." Jun woke with a start to find Saul staring at him, the pup's eyes glowing in the dark room. "Did you just talk to me?" Jun whispered. Saul made a small sound and put his paw on Jun's hand. In that moment, Jun understood. Saul wasn't just bonding with him. He was trying to teach him something important. An alarm suddenly blared through the colony. "Attention all residents," a voice announced. "Unidentified ships approaching. This is not a drill. Prepare for possible hostile action." Jun grabbed Saul and ran into the hallway. People rushed in all directions, gathering weapons and heading to defense positions. "Jun," my son called, running toward him. "The consortium found us. 3 of their ships are approaching." "How did they find this place?" Jun asked, holding Saul tightly. My son's face turned hard. "Someone told them. We have a traitor." They hurried to the main control room, where Elder Jin was directing the colony's defenders. Screens showed 3 large consortium ships moving through the asteroid field with perfect precision. "They shouldn't be able to navigate that field so easily," Jin said, his voice tight with worry. "They have our exact path. Someone gave them our codes." Jun looked around the room. Many faces showed fear, but a few looked suspicious of each other. Trust was breaking. Saul suddenly jumped from Jun's arms and ran to one of the screens. He growled at the image of the largest ship. "Dr. Lee is on that one," Jun guessed. "He can sense her." A loud boom shook the entire colony. The consortium had started firing at the outer defenses. "Everyone to your positions," Jin ordered. "My son, take Jun and Saul to the emergency ships. They need to get out of here." Before they could move, the doors to the control room slid open. Dr. Lee walked in with 6 armed guards. Everyone froze. "No need for that," Dr. Lee said calmly. "We're already inside." One of Jin's advisors, an alien named Krell, moved to stand beside Dr. Lee. His 4 eyes blinked nervously. "I'm sorry," Krell said. "The consortium promised to spare the colony if we gave them what they wanted." Jin stared at his friend in shock. "You betrayed us." "I did what was necessary to save lives," Krell insisted. Dr. Lee stepped forward. "Now, Dr. Kim, hand over the Lumina, and we can end this peacefully." Sol growled, his fur standing on end. Jun moved in front of him protectively. "You don't understand what you're doing," Jun said. "Sol isn't just a specimen. The Lumina are peacekeepers. They help people." "Then he can help us by coming quietly," Dr. Lee replied. Her guards raised their weapons. Suddenly, Elder Jin rushed at the guards. In the confusion, one of them fired. The laser blast hit Jin directly in the chest. He fell to the ground, a smoking wound where his heart should be. "No!" My son screamed, running to Jin's side. The old man lay motionless, his eyes staring blankly at the ceiling. Jun's medical training told him that Jin was beyond help. The blast had destroyed his heart completely. Sol darted forward before anyone could stop him. He stood beside Jin's body and began to make his cry. But this time, it was different. The sound was deeper, stronger, filling the room like water fills a cup. Waves of light poured from Sol's small body. His eyes glowed pure white, and his fur shimmered with energy. The light surrounded Jin's body, lifting it slightly off the floor. "Stop that creature!" Dr. Lee shouted, but her guards seemed unable to move. Everyone in the room stood frozen, watching the amazing sight. The wound in Jin's chest began to close. Color returned to his pale face, and then, most incredibly, his chest began to rise and fall with breath. But Sol wasn't finished. As his cry reached a new pitch, something strange happened. Threads of light extended from Sol to every person in the room, connecting them. Jun felt a warm sensation in his mind, and suddenly he could feel what everyone else was feeling. He felt Dr. Lee's cold ambition, but also her hidden fear. He felt Krell's shame and regret. He felt my son's loyalty and hope, and he felt Jin's love for his colony. Around the room, people gasped as they experienced each other's emotions and thoughts. Weapons lowered, faces softened. Jin's eyes fluttered open. He looked at Sol in wonder. "The Harmony Bearer," he whispered. "It's true." Dr. Lee fell to her knees, her face showing confusion. What is happening to me?" "You're feeling what we feel," Jun explained, understanding now what Sol was doing. "You're connected to us all." Sol's cry slowly faded, but the connection remained. In those moments of shared consciousness, everything changed. The guards lowered their weapons completely. Dr. Lee stayed on her knees, tears running down her face. "I never knew," she whispered. "I never understood what I was destroying." The connection slowly faded, but its effect remained. Dr. Lee sat quietly on a chair, her face showing the struggle within her mind. The guards had put down their weapons completely, some of them looking ashamed. Sol had collapsed after his powerful cry, his small body exhausted. Jun held him gently, checking his vital signs with concern. "He'll be okay," Jun said to the worried faces around him. "He just needs rest." Elder Jin, fully healed but weak, approached Dr. Lee slowly. "What will you do now?" he asked her. Dr. Lee looked up, her eyes different than before. Softer, more human. "I was told we were studying the Lumina to create healing technology," she said quietly. "But the consortium leaders wanted weapons. They lied to many of us." She stood up and faced the room. "I can't undo what I've done, but I can try to make it right." Over the next few hours, something amazing happened. The consortium ships did not attack again. Instead, many scientists from the ships came to the colony. Like Dr. Lee, they had felt Sol's connection and wanted to understand more. Krell, the traitor, had locked himself in his quarters, too ashamed to face those he had betrayed. But Jin visited him. "You made a mistake," Jin told him. "But you did it to protect people. Now help us really protect them. 3 days later, June sat in a large meeting room. Around the table were colony leaders, consortium scientists, and representatives from nearby star systems. Sol lay sleeping at his feet, still tired from his great effort. "It's official," my son announced, entering the room with a data tablet. "The consortium's board of directors has removed the weapons research division. Dr. Lee is now head of medical research, with a focus on working with, not on, the Lumina." Dr. Lee nodded. "We've found records of 23 Lumina being held in various research facilities. They're being released and brought here as we speak." Jin smiled at the news. "And the best part, our scouts have found evidence of a small wild Lumina population on a moon in the Proxima system. They weren't all wiped out." June felt a wave of relief. Sol would not be the last of his kind after all. "What about the mining operations that destroyed their homeworld?" June asked. "Suspended," Dr. Lee replied. "The Galactic Council is reviewing all permits after what happened here. No one wants to be responsible for wiping out a species like the Lumina." 6 months later, June stood in the new medical center built at the edge of the colony. Large windows looked out into space, showing the beautiful colors of a nearby nebula. The medical center combined traditional medicine with Lumina healing. 3 adult Lumina had joined them, working alongside doctors from many species. Their unique cries helped heal injuries that medicine alone could not fix. Sol was no longer a small pup. He had grown quickly, now reaching June's knee in height. His white fur glowed brightly, and his eyes shifted through colors more rapidly than before. The other Lumina treated him with special respect, confirming his status as a harmony bearer. "Dr. Kim," called a nurse, "the new patients from Epsilon 9 have arrived." June smiled, recognizing Nurse Ta leading a group of miners. Dad Park was among them, waving excitedly when he saw June and Sol. "The famous Dr. Kim and his miracle wolf," Daz said with a grin. "The stories about you two have spread through half the galaxy." June laughed and knelt beside Sol. "We're just doing what we always wanted to do, helping people." That night, as June prepared for bed in his quarters, Sol sat watching the stars through the window. He made a soft sound, not quite his healing cry, but something gentler. "I know," June said, somehow understanding Sol's meaning. "We had a lot more work to do." Sol turned to him, eyes swirling with silver and blue. In June's mind, he heard a clear thought. Together. From a struggling medic with dwindling supplies to the head of a groundbreaking medical center, June's life had changed in ways he never imagined. All because of a small albino alien wolf pup with an unusual cry, a cry that had changed the galaxy.